All right, this is a continuation of the rolling video from using the paper towels. We're going to go from paper towels to using real tobacco. I'm going to have to prep the tobacco a little bit to get it to the right case, to the right moisture level and flexibility level. And there's something to be said here. We should go over this now. Here's a leaf of Nicaraguan saco. Here's the tip of the leaf. And here's the bottom of the leaf. The tobacco is richer up at the tip of the leaf than it is down at the bottom of the leaf here. We're always going to try to get the richer tobacco here up to into the foot of the cigar instead of the head. This tobacco we want in the head, this we want in the foot. Not too many people talk about that, and we're going to do that in this cigar for those who are really trying to make the best cigar that they could make. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But I do. It just takes a little organizational skills, and let's take it and see where it goes. This is going to be my binder leaf. It is saco, it's right out of the bag. I haven't touched it. This is how it comes from whole leaf tobacco. It's pretty good. I'm going to remove the center vein. I do that. I could rip it out, but I'm just going to simply cut it out with my pizza cutter very quickly. Take this little bit of stuff off here, this little bit of stuff off here. And I've got my two tips, and you can see the veins, just like we did with the paper towel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to mist this real quickly with water. Spray, spray, flip, spray with a mister. I'm immediately going to come back here and take that water off. Just to loosen it up just a little bit. Okay? It's going to make it just a little bit more flexible for us to roll it. So we're going to dry that out. And that little bit of moisture, I don't want it soaking wet, allows me now to take this. This is the tip of my leaf here. This is the rich end. And we're going to pull that apart and pull it. It's nice and flexible now. That little bit of moisture really makes it nice to work with. Pulls it nice and wide. Look at that nice big leaf now that I have to work with. And as we remember, we want the angle of our veins going in the right direction. So we not only want the veins in the right direction, we want the tip of the cigar pointing upward. These are angled this way. These are angled this way. I'm going to match them together. And there's my binder all running in a row. That's ready to go. I'm going to take, this is piloto. I'm going to take them, quickly cut that out. Cut that into a scrap bag. My tips are facing that way. A little bit more. I'm going to cut that center vein out. The tips are facing that way. Here's a little viso we're going to throw in there. Cut that vein out. And I'm going to take the tips, match the tips. My tips are heading all in the same direction up there. Now here, and it's a little bit unorthodox, you can do this if you want or don't do it. This is Almond Liero. You can see it's kind of a rough leaf to work with. Here's what I do. And this is, I've never seen anybody do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I cut the main vein out. And take this and I make little shards of Liero that are going to go in there. Here's the other one. Main vein's out. I'm going to cut that into a shard, into little pieces and little strips. Something I do because I like to mix it. Instead of wadding the Liero, is the worst burning tobacco in the group. So instead of wadding a pile of it together, getting that trying to burn, I try to mix it in with the other tobaccos. So I'm all ready now. I got that. I have my tips facing up. I'm going to take this now and I'm going to cut this right in half. You can hear it's kind of crunchy. This wants to go with the tips. Heading in that direction. We're going to take a strip, there's the tip, roll it into a tubular shape, just like that. It's like a big soda straw. I'm going to take a little bit of Liero now, throw that in. Take another piece, roll that into a tubular shape. My tips always want to be pointing upward. Tips upward, a little more Liero. Roll that up, tips upward again. Upward, I'm going to put a little more Liero laced in there. Some of these long, easy to burn strips. That's pretty dry tobacco there. If I roll it much tighter, it is going to crack on me. So I don't roll it so tight that it shatters. Again, my tips are going that way. A little more Liero in there. I'm just keeping track, making sure that my tips and my directional aim of that is going the direction I want. A little more Liero in there. So the Liero now is sandwiched in between this easy burning Seco. I'm starting to feel that in my hand. I'm not getting there yet, but I'm getting close. I think the part of learning here that you have to learn is the feel of it in your hand of when you reach when enough is enough. A little more Liero. The Viso is a thicker, heavier leaf, so it takes up more of a mass in there. A little more Liero, and that's about it. So our tips are here. Our tip is here. the head of the cigar is going to be here and down here. So we want the good tobacco at the tip. We want the tips to meet the tip. So we're going to take this. Feel that? I'm squeezing that in. I feel that whole roll right there. Take that. Going to roll it up. The bottom end of the tobacco is with the bottom end of the tobacco, and the tips are going to meet the tips. Okay? In this goes, and we start the roll. Just like the paper towel. No difference. Make sure we don't get that twisted. Taking this nice and slow. This is not a speed race like you see on the internet where these guys can roll a cigar in 10 seconds. Doing this nice and slow to show how this whole thing goes together. My tips are coming with my tips. So it's easy to keep track of that. After you do a couple, it'll get easier. As I get up towards the end, this is xanthan gum that I get at Walmart. Little gum on there. And I need a little bit on this one because you've got 2 leaves there. And roll that up. Just like that. That looks kind of rough, but we're going to take that. Cut that off. It's my butt end. My butt end, the end that I want to go in my mouth. I'm going to take that in our mold where the rounded cap end of the cigar is, and that is going to go on that end. It's kind of rough looking, but it's round as a cigar. I'm going to pound that in there. I'm going to press that in. I'm going to push it right up into that head of that mold so that gets rounded. Press that up in there. Tuck that in. And that cigar will get compressed. We'll put that in the mold. And press that and compress that cigar right into shape. I'm going to leave that there for a while just to show you. I did one earlier. I did exactly the same amount, exactly the same cigar. When that cigar comes out of there, it does a transformation. In fact, just that little press right now that I just did there really compressed that cigar down and made it look 10 times better immediately. Now when you take that and leave it in there for a half an hour, you get something that looks like that. I could light that cigar right there and smoke that. That's just with the binder on there. This is ready for wrapper, which we'll do in the next video. But that's what that cigar will look like in about an hour. You could leave it in for 2 hours, 3 hours. You could leave it overnight if you wanted. But this is what a mold does. It gives you the round cap. Then all your good tobacco, the tips of the tobacco are down at this end, and the lesser tobacco is down here. The part that you're going to throw away is your lesser tobacco down here. All your rich tobacco's up here. The next video, we'll take it from here and do the wrapper where the tip of the wrapper also will end up here as well. And we'll see you then.